On July 13, 2026, the Department of War completely froze the CMMC Phase II rollout, halting a process that was slated for November 10th. They set up a 60-day CMMC reform task force to deal with what they called prohibitive compliance costs for defense contractors. Paul is a certified CMMC assessor. Where were you when that July 13th announcement dropped?
I was literally sitting at my desk reviewing a system security plan for a small machine shop in Massachusetts. They had spent close to $40,000 getting ready for an assessment. And then, boom, Phase 2 suspended overnight. My phone just lit up with panicked calls from small business owners asking if all that capital was just thrown down the drain.
Well, from a regulatory standpoint, that sudden halt is fascinating. The department opened a compressed 30-day public comment window ending August 14, 2026 at 12 p.m. Eastern, directed right to Ms. Leanne Condren. When you see an agency issue an RFI with a tight 30-day turnaround like that, it usually means the policy reforms are already largely pre-drafted inside OIRA or the Secretary's office. They are looking for specific evidence to justify decisions they have already mapped out.
Look, the pre-award certification model was fundamentally broken, forcing small suppliers to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on pre-award certification against a completely unknown scope before they even know if they will win the contract. It turned compliance into a massive barrier to entry. You have small machine shops bowing out of the defense industrial base entirely.
I get the financial strain, Paul. I really do. But suspending Phase 2 without an immediate replacement creates massive legal ambiguity. DFAR's Clause 252.204/7012 is still active in existing contracts. Contracting officers are now left in limbo, unsure how to verify self-attestations while the task force deliberates, which opens up huge False Claims Act exposure for contractors trying to navigate this gap.
So we have this tension between immediate financial relief for small suppliers and total regulatory uncertainty across the supply chain.
That is exactly why I submitted my formal response to the RFI on August 9. First-hand testimony, not commentary. My blueprint rests on a three-part thesis. First, fix upstream government practices like overmarking and improper flowdowns. Second, move verification post-award where it is funded by contract revenue. And third, take the money currently wasted on Project Spectrum and reallocate it to direct, SBA-led education for small contractors.
That 75-25 split you cited in your response caught my eye at OMB. You argued that small business compliance is 75% documentation and only 25% technical controls.
Because the government has never authoritatively defined what done looks like. Small businesses do not lack the will to secure their systems. They lack clear guidance. So they hire predatory commercial consultants who sell them 500-page template packages. Then, when an assessor comes in, we have to audit them against their own over-engineered policies, which go way beyond what NIST SP 800-171 actually requires.
Wait, so they build policies that bind them to rules the government never even asked for?
Precisely. And it compounds with the marking problem. Government systems routinely append automatic CUI batters to totally blank forms or standard outbound emails. An email with no sensitive data arrives stamped CUI, and boom, that contractor whole email server is suddenly pulled into CUI scope. It is a contagious overmarking cycle that expands scope in only one direction.
And if a small contractor challenges the marking, they risk alienating the program manager who awards their next contract. The economic incentive is to stay quiet, absorb the massive scoping cost, and pass it downstream to subcontractors.
That is the core battleground for the task force. In our upcoming episodes, we are going through Paul RFI submission question by question to see if the department will enforce real self-discipline or just shuffle the burden around. Thanks for joining. See you next time.